time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
Indeed, on a Thursday. Can you believe it's already Thursday? Lot to do over the next 60 minutes. Thank you, Chad Erickson. Lots to do to talk about baseball. David Aardsma will be here to do that. Former big league pitcher joins us every Thursday on the show. We'll have some thoughts on the NFL draft. Night one on Thursday. Also, we will have some hockey thoughts because there is the Stanley Cup Playoffs going on. So all of that coming up in odds and ends, and some sad news from the world of play-by-play, in the direction of play-by-play, and a mode of listening and taking part in sports that seems to be eroding. We'll get to that as well. But we start things out in the NBA. Sam Yarnell is here, and Sam, I'll tell you, I can't ever recall such a dramatic shift in a series as the one that we may have seen on Wednesday night with the Warriors and Rockets, because after watching game one, I didn't have any doubt in my mind the Warriors were going to win this series. You know, the Rockets looked like a team that were sort of overwhelmed, maybe overcome by the moment. You got to learn how to win. The game being officiated differently, which it certainly is in this postseason, where, you know, we've basically gone back to no blood, no foul. And then Jimmy Butler gets hurt in the Warriors loss to the Rockets last night. I think he was injured in the first quarter, and he's lost for the game. They're calling it a pelvic contusion. He could be lost for longer. We'll find out. There's an MRI that's going to take place on Thursday, and obviously when we get the results of that, we'll throw a Sports Wrap short up on social media, which is why you got to follow us on YouTube and TikTok and all those great places. But Sam, no Jimmy Butler, no chance for the Warriors. I am now convinced if Butler is out for the rest of this series, the Warriors are done.
Well, Jason, I think that the Jimmy Butler injury makes Amen Thompson's defense and his capabilities on the defensive side of the basketball so much more valuable, especially for the Rockets and especially in this series itself. Obviously now, as you told me, Ime Udoka said in the post-game presser, the Warriors become significantly more, if not completely, one-dimensional. They're going to have to play a completely different brand of basketball than they've been doing for the last 2 months, kind of sort more than that really now at this point, 2.5 months, that's made them so successful and led them to where they were in this playoffs and took them from being on the fringe of the play-in picture to being a successful play-in team that ultimately matched up with the Rockets, as we saw. This is, like you said, a series-altering injury, and it's one that I do think it is appropriate to say that the Warriors' kind of postseason hopes at this point are contingent upon, because Jimmy Butler has proven himself since moving to Golden State as one of the most effective basketball players in the NBA right now. That's not to say that he's one of the best scorers or one of the best assisters, but in terms of being effective for what his team needs, Jimmy Butler is exactly that, especially when he's in a place that has a chance to win the championship, which I don't want to go out on a limb and say, or I don't want to contradict myself even, and say that the Warriors have some outstanding chance in the Western Conference. They don't, even with Jimmy Butler, but without him, that chance is essentially zero, and I don't really give him a great chance of getting past the Rockets.
Curry last night, 6 of 15, 4 of 9 from 3, 20 points. Yes, he had 9 assists. He had 5 rebounds, 6 turnovers as well. You talk about that suffocating Rockets defense. It dramatically changes the complexion of this series. If he even misses a couple of games, or if he comes back and he can't be as effective, because I'll tell you, that fall was nasty last night. For people who didn't see it, there it is again. That fall he suffered last night, I mean, he was a good 3.5 feet off the ground when he got undercut. And by the way, there's nothing dirty in that play. Go listen to Steve Kerr after the game, who, if he wanted to, could have made a statement to the league about that being a dirty play. I have people all in my timelines, all over my YouTube, saying it's a dirty play. It should have been a flagrant. It should have been this. He got pushed into Jimmy Butler from behind, probably by Draymond Green. If you kind of look at it, I don't think there was anything dirty on anybody's part. It was just a hard basketball play. But this brings into play something, Sam. I got to bring this up. This is the problem when you are a league that is it's everybody treated with kid gloves during the regular season, and then you open it up and it becomes gangland in the postseason. You can't be shocked when star players, Jason Tatum, the wrist injury, couldn't play game 2 for the Celtics. Yes, they won, but they were without one of their big stars. Now what you've seen in this series and what we've seen throughout the postseason, Knicks and Pistons, you can't be surprised if players get hurt when you open the floodgates to physical play.
You're right, Jason, but I think that you should, for this contingent of Warriors fans and seemingly all of Warriors Twitter that has gone up in arms saying that this was a dirty play and this was, him lunging under Jimmy Butler and not even going for the basketball. Well, I would encourage you to go back and watch the replay on the NBC Sports Bay Area broadcast, which separate issue with the NBA and their entire postseason format. Why are we having the first round on regional television on these regional sports networks?
It's on TNT too.
Really,
it's on TNT. It was still on TNT.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
They just the locals get to carry it.
NBC Sports Bay Area had the broadcast as well. And immediately the color commentator goes, well, now listen, I don't think that was intentional, but and it was like you've got to be kidding me, I think was what was uttered. It was almost like they knew that it was Draymond Green who caused Jalen Green to fall right under Jimmy Butler. And I think that there's just so much irony in that.
Yeah.
That Draymond Green, for as much as he does all season with the technicals and everything, he's the one who cost you it all.
And by the way, there's going to be a fight in this series. If there was a bet on some sort of brawl in this series, I would take the yes. Probably like plus 180, I'd say, is probably the number. There's going to be a brawl somewhere in this series because these two teams right now are showing they don't like each other all that much. Lost in all of this, by the way. Jalen Green was amazing. What do you have, 38 in the win? He was fantastic. And if you want something to watch the rest of the series, Jalen Green game 1, terrible. Jalen Green game 2, amazing. Rockets lose game 1, they win game 2. Real quick, Celtics win without Tatum. They're up 2-0 on the Magic. That series is a wrap. And the Cavaliers hang on to beat the Heat in game 2 last night. That series also a wrap. Both those teams on track to move on to the second round. All right, we're coming back. NFL draft talk. Also, the Titans making a signing. We'll get to it next. Welcome back to the show. Do some baseball coming up. David Aardsma. A few segments with him on the program. We said we're going to add a segment for David Aardsma today. So we got that coming up. If you are not following the show on YouTube, you're really missing out. We have the SportsWrap with Jason Page YouTube channel, which is all the rage right now. We're adding new subscribers every day. We've got content going up there all the time, clips from the show. We have SportsWrap shorts, which go up sometimes when there's breaking news outside of our window when we do the show every day. So if there's anything breaking in sports, the place to go, the SportsWrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. Everything is right there. Sam Yarnell, the NFL draft. This is one of those things where for our show, it sort of falls in between the cracks because we air at all different times around the country. We air as early as 3 p.m. We air as late as 11 p.m. So depending on when you're watching this show and where you're watching this show, night 1 of the NFL draft is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. So you might watch this and say, why are they talking about the draft like it hasn't happened yet? Well, because for us right now, it hasn't. We are voices from the past for some of you. I just wonder if there's going to be any major trades here, Sam. Because we keep hearing about the Giants. We keep hearing about the Browns. We keep hearing that they're both fielding calls. But, and look, this could go right up until the start of the draft with teams having conversations. But I kind of get the sense if I had to guess right now at the time we're putting this together, I don't know if there's going to be any major movement here.
I actually completely disagree with you on this.
Whoa!
I think we are in for a ton of trades on draft night. This is actually something that I've bet in the past. You can bet the total number of trades over or under on night one of the draft. And historically, I like to bet over. I want to go way over this year, especially in a year where it's the first time that everyone's talking about in the common draft era, everyone's got their first round pick. This feels like a prime opportunity for people to move off of those picks in a draft where it's not incredibly talented rich, right? We keep talking about it. Starters, not stars in this draft. People are going to want to move back into the first round when you're talking about teams that need cornerstone first round players at multiple positions. I'm looking at the Chicago Bears. I'm looking at the New York Giants. Those are both, even the Pittsburgh Steelers, even the Seattle Seahawks, to me, all qualified teams to make 2 selections in this first round. Because of that, I haven't seen this prop hung this year. I think the book is already kind of on to me and may not give me an opportunity to bet this, but if there's any number below 4 hung for total trades during round 1, I will easily go over that, Jason. I think we are in for some fireworks here on Thursday night.
Wow. Did you know there's not to go crazy on draft props, because we can just drive ourselves crazy doing this and spend the whole segment doing it, which would be okay. The Giants to select both Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders is actually a bet. How would you get there? Number? How would you get there? What, that you'd get Shedeur Sanders in the second round? Like, how would you get there? How would you get, what would you be trading? How would you get to a point where the Giants could get both?
What would happen is so obviously Cam Ward to the Titans. Abdul Carter would have to go to the Browns, which I don't think a ton of people are expecting at this point, but could certainly happen. You would take Travis Hunter with the third overall, and then I would assume the projection would be you would trade back into the first round down around near 20, say. We talked with Nick Ferguson about this running back class being deep. Potentially the Broncos move off of their first round pick at 20. That way you jump in right before the Steelers and have a chance to take Shedeur there. Wow, I'm actually talking myself more and more into this I think that's how it would work out, right? Is the Giants would make the pick at 3 and trade back into the first round right before the Steelers. I would say around 20.
25-1 is the number.
It's worth the sprinkle.
Plus 2,500 if you want to do that. According to our friends over at FanDuel, I'm just throwing it out there. Shedeur Sanders or Ashton Genty to be drafted in the top 3 picks, plus 250. I don't think so. I wouldn't do it. I don't think either of them go top 3.
No.
Giants, maybe Sanders?
No, they wouldn't go that high because, Jason, this is a guy whose draft prop yesterday, between the time you and I started doing the show and ended doing the show, his over-under on his draft position moved from 8.5 to 21.5.
It's going to wind up with the Steelers.
There's some intel that's come in that's telling people that he's going to go late in the first round, and it seems like it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like it's going to be the Steelers. So we will have full coverage of round 1 of the draft on Friday's show. Obviously, again, if you're watching this show after round 1, you already know what's taking place. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. Keep an eye on our YouTube SportsWrap with Jason Page channel. I will have reaction throughout the evening to round 1 of the draft. We were debating in the Page household doing a drinking game for the draft tonight, and every time a player gets interviewed after they're picked in the first round and they thank the Lord Jesus Christ, their Lord and Savior, we were going to do shots, but we're still on the fence. We might do that. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel, because by the time we get to like midway through the first round, I could be completely schnockered. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Here in New Jersey, when the college football playoff national championship was going on, during the game, they actually had a market that popped up live for who the the MVP, the most outstanding player, would thank first in their interview with ESPN right after. And me and all my friends absolutely smashed God/deity, I believe was the market. And obviously it came in because it was we laid like -105, easiest bet ever. Come on.
By the way, rest in peace, Pope Francis. We didn't mention his passing this week, and they were like celebrating him all over the world. They like stopped playing soccer games in certain parts of the world. That's how much they loved him. He was a soccer goalie, by the way, when he was a kid. It's kind of cool. Something people didn't know about Pope Francis. I didn't know until just yesterday. Couple of signings in the NFL. Kirby Joseph. Too bad we didn't get this news yesterday when we had Nick Ferguson on the show. All-pro safety. 4 years, $86 million, makes him the highest paid safety, Sam.
Yeah, it's a lot of money in an offseason where you saw J.C. Horn get a bag. I'm starting to get concerned with how much money we're giving these DBs.
Some huge contracts being handed out in this offseason. And the Titans make a move. Tyler Lockett gets a one-year deal on the
where
eve
all
of the
veteran
draft.
receivers go to end their career. Tennessee.
Who's throwing him the football?
Cam Ward.
Year one. Good luck. We're coming back with David Aardsma next. All right, this Thursday edition of Sports Wrap continues. Thursday is one of my favorite days of the week. It means we have this guy. The one and only David Aardsma is here. Former major league pitcher.
I feel like you're not being true. Like, you just tell me this. You tell me it's a favorite day, but you just tell everybody that, don't you?
It's not. It's
Make us feel good.
There's only one other day that I enjoy as much as this one, and that's Wednesday with our buddy Kurt Heelan of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Because we're all bald. Kurt's bald. You're bald. I'm hiding the fact that I'm bald.
We're getting there.
Sam's got the widow's peak going. He will be one day.
Oh no, that looks good. That's good hair.
I don't know. I'm
Unfortunately for Jason Page, there is not an ounce of baldness in my genetics on either side, so I should be good from here on out.
All right, it's fine. So let's talk some baseball, guys. I got some questions for you, David, starting with, look, I'm bringing this up not because I'm a Yankee fan, but because Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball right now. He's hitting .415, and I posited the theory yesterday that he could hit 400. He's that good of a hitter that he could hit 400, David. Do you see it? I mean, again, help in the lineup also plays into that. You know, the guys hitting behind him, seeing better pitches, all of that. I know it's early, but could he hit 400?
Well, according to Juan Soto, he's the greatest hitter of all time, and he misses hitting with them and around them and anywhere in the locker room, apparently. I don't think Aaron Judge has the ability to hit 400. Right now, he is absolutely crushing it. He was killing it for 20% of the season. It's absolutely amazing. I don't think he's as pure of a hitter as Ted Williams, as those guys. At the end of the day, he goes out and just crushes baseballs. But he's not a contact hitter. He's not a take a base hit, take a base hit, take a base hit.
I don't know.
He's getting it done. But he's not a pure, just go out and teach hitting how to base hit. I don't see 400 in his future. I do see him having a great season. He's killing it. He's not a 400 type of hitter. If he pulls this off, that is by far the greatest season of all time. There will be nothing. A power hitter like Aaron Judge hitting 400 is unbelievable.
I gotta tell you, I don't think it's as far fetched as it sounds like you think it is, and that's because his eye is so good. You know, one of the things that robs him of a higher batting average oftentimes is the low strike call, which he gets called worse than anybody in baseball because umpires still haven't figured out that he's like 6'7". But I got to tell you, man, his bat to ball ratio is, I think, better probably than a lot of people think it is. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, I do want to say, though, just on this subject before we let it go, we should realize there has not been someone who hits 400 in a major league season in 80 years. The last person to do it was Josh Gibson with the Homestead Grays in the Negro Leagues, who hit 466 in 1943. The last one before that was Ted Williams in 1941. And even in an era where we still see contact hitting in your guys like Luis Ariz and Stephen Kwan, they're fighting every year to hit 340, 350. 400 is a whole different ballpark. So while Aaron Judge is great, well, let's pump the brakes. He's not Ted Williams or Josh Gibson. That's different ballpark of elitism. David, we had horrible news yesterday for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I guess some could say it was expected that Blake Snell would hit the injured list at some point throughout the season. But I wanted to get your thoughts in a general sense because the Dodgers are racking up these injuries, man. I know Clayton Kershaw started the year on the IL and he's working his way back, making rehab starts, so on and so forth. But yesterday they throw out Ben Kasparius in a bullpen game that they end up losing. It's starting to feel like the Dodgers may not have built the most sustainable baseball team. Are you at all concerned? I know it is April 24th as we record this.
Yes, I am absolutely concerned. I was concerned before the season, and that's the one thing that they did correctly, though, was sign so many guys that they could weather the storm. They had a lot of guys already on the IL before the season started, so some of those guys are going to start working their way back. But at the same time, they're losing more than they're bringing back, and that's never a good thing. And when you're losing, some of your top guys, that is never a good thing. They weren't expecting to lose Kopech and Treinen, obviously, and so those are really the ones that really hurt. But Blake Snell, yes, that is, you're losing the Cy Young winner. That's going to crush you. You're not getting Gonsolin back because of his back. We thought he was going to be coming back. You're obviously going to get Clayton Kershaw, where I wasn't expecting anything out of Clayton Kershaw. I feel like they were pumping the brakes with him. They've been pumping the brakes on Ohtani. There's a point where they got to start pumping, getting these guys going and getting them in there, because at some point it's going to catch up, but they're still rocking a four-man rotation of Yamamoto, Sasaki, Glasnow, and May that are as good as you're going to get, even with all those injuries. And that's why there's one of the most famous sayings in baseball: you can never have enough pitching. And they kept signing them, and we kept calling them crazy. And now we're sitting here saying, God, good thing they bought all that pitching and brought them in, and they're going to be able to weather the storm. It's just at some point, it's like, is it going to ever catch up? I don't think it will.
Pitching always seems to be ahead of hitting early in the year, David. And
unless you're Aaron Judge.
Unless you're Aaron Judge. Pitching always seems to be ahead of hitting. But it seems like it's even more so this year. Do you attribute that to anything?
I don't contribute to anything. I actually think hitting is starting to come back. I think we're starting to teach contact hitting more. And we're talking about Jack Wilson and the way he approaches the play, where he had a walk, but he's hitting 350 or something like that. I think we're starting to see actually more complete hitters. We're starting to see hitters that can go up and make contact with the ball. It's this novel idea of actually trying to hit the ball, not to hit every single swing, trying to hit a home run. And so I think we're starting to see a new evolution of hitting, of guys from the Stephen Kwan kind of school, but maybe with more tools, where they're starting to make contact and starting to hit. Pitching is always going to be ahead of hitting, always going to be ahead of hitting. It's just the nature of the game. We can adjust quicker than hitters can adjust. But I'm loving seeing some of these hitters come out and actually swing the bat like they want to hit the ball, not like they're trying to hit a 3-run home run every single swing.
Yeah, it's like unless you're Anthony Volpe, who can't hit water from a boat right now. God, he's terrible. My God, is he terrible.
He's fine.
He's not fine. He struck out 4 more times yesterday. He's got like 25 strikeouts in his last 50 at-bats. He's terrible. We're coming back with more David Aardsma. I promise. Maybe another Yankee question in there. I'm not sure. Welcome back to the show. I'm not even wasting time. David Aardsma's here because it's a Thursday edition of the show. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm not going to sit here and blather on about other stuff. I'm just going to hop right back into it. we talked about last week on the show kind of what it's like to be on a bad team. I want to kind of expand upon that and ask you, if you're the Orioles, at what point does this become more than just a random bad start to the season and you have to start thinking about changes, whether it's in the dugout with the manager, whether it's, shaking things up by sending somebody down who still has options? Like, what do you do as an organization right now if you're the Orioles, and maybe you have set your expectations higher than they should be given the fact that you didn't do anything in the offseason and you may have gotten worse from what you were last year, losing Santander and so on. What do you do as an organization? When does it start to become too late?
Well, with the Orioles especially, that's an interesting one. I love how you say didn't do anything. They didn't offensively. They got worse, and everyone was kind of screaming this, but they said, all of our young players are going to get better and get older. When they've got so many young players, they should have traded a couple of them for those solid veteran guys that everyone else has. They did sign some guys in the rotation, and that has not worked out well. They're the worst ERA in baseball, and they're 18th in hitting, so really haven't done anything. But to get to the real question, when you're 9-14, you don't feel like you're out of it, especially when the New York Yankees, who are one of the best teams in baseball, are only 15-10. It's not your 6 games, 6 wins, and you're going to play each other a bunch, right? That's 2 great series, and you're right in it. The reality, though, is you're way back. You're way back. You have to start having these meetings. Did you almost drop an
F-bomb?
He did.
Did you almost drop an F-bomb, David Aardsma, on this show? This is not the Pat McAfee show. We don't drop F-bombs
in the clubhouse
here.
mode. If I'm in that clubhouse, I'm locking that door saying I'm dropping some F-bombs.
What the hell?
But you have to have the meetings. You got to start having internal meetings. The clubhouse has to start handling this. Somebody has to step up and become a captain.
Who's that guy on the Orioles?
It's got to be Adley. It's got to be Adley stepping up and being
I would have said Mountcastle,
clubhouse guy.
I would have said Gunner, so maybe it's nobody.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about it. In the starting 9, there's no big solid veteran that they should have brought in and been that clubhouse leader, and that's what they have to find. If this happens for another 2-3 weeks, yes, you have to start to looking at the coaching and saying maybe we have to switch it, or you believe in that coaching for the long run and you just weather the storm knowing you weren't going to be World Series champion this year, and you make that play for next year. But at some point, for them especially, it has to change. I mean, there's some other teams out there, the Twins. You got to shake something up too. Like, that team's built for right now. That team's not built for the long run and the future. And obviously, I think everybody's talked about with the Braves is Brian Snedeker has already kind of talked about maybe dabbling with retirement anyways. Like, you can't be talking about that and coaching a season, and coming back. I guess I'll come back. No, you're either full in or full out.
I think they are finally starting to realize maybe the value that Santander and Burns had off the field more so than on the field. I wanted to talk to you, David, about one of the second best team in baseball. It's the San Diego Padres. What? Don't look now. They're below 500 on the road. They're 12-1 at home. David, have you ever been on a team that has had that copious of success at home compared to what they've done on the road? And what plays into that? Is home field advantage just that much more valuable in the major leagues?
At the same time, they've played the Tigers, they played the Astros. I get it. It's not the same world beater, Astros that they've had in the past, and they played the Cubs. So those are some road games that aren't like those are pretty good teams. And then the Cubs, I don't know, somehow are going to be the World Series champions now, have the highest odds to win the World Series. But those are pretty good teams that you're playing on the road. Even anytime you're going into Houston, that's a big deal. But it's funny bringing up Houston is they were the opposite, whatever it was last year or the year before, where they couldn't win at home. I've never been on a team that's been so polar opposite. But again, it's really early. And when you're playing, sometimes you're playing the same teams constantly, especially with how the regular season is scheduled now. I tend to really wait because it's really interesting how these schedules are built. Like you're playing one team 3 days later, you're playing them again, and so sometimes you just run the same team, the same buzzsaw. But with San Diego, I mean, they've been playing amazing at home, and give them that let them play the regular season a little bit longer. That road record's going to be good. They're too good of a team right now, playing too confident. And again, it's not like they're getting killed. They played the Tigers and played some great games, in Detroit, Houston. They played a lot of close games again. So they're losing, but it's not like they're losing 8-0 every day.
You know what's amazing to me? And we only got a minute left in this segment because time flies, but it used to be you won a World Series. It bought you years of job security. Same thing in the NBA championships, all this. All of that security in all of sports is gone, David. Why is that?
I do think it's gone in certain situations. You look at the Rangers, Bochy, like with what they did last year. It did not matter what they did last year after winning that World Series. Sure. But I would say this: sometimes it's just the money commitment now feels like it's so much more, and it is, but it might not be compared to actually like real world dollars. But so it feels like there's so much more of a commitment to every year, to every team, and fan bases' expectations have changed. We're social media and everything. So when we're constantly living under a microscope and you struggle for a week, then everybody is pointing fingers at you, especially after a World Series championship team, and you're expected to win every day.
All right, we're going to wash David's mouth out with a bar of soap because
I didn't say
he was going to swear on the show. And then we'll come back. I got more questions for him. So does Sam. Don't go anywhere. All right, one more segment with David Aardsma because it's Thursday and we love talking baseball on Thursdays. Could talk baseball every day. One more on the Yankees, and it's pitching related because I want to get your thoughts on Max Fried, who is, pitched Cy Young Award worthy here in the first month of the season. Coming off all the injuries, we see guys go to New York and struggle. What has made him so successful when you watch what Fried is doing?
Well, I love that he's come to New York and pitched well. Because you usually, right, it's usually the go to New York, you struggle, you
Jack McDowell, Javier, who's the guy, the former White Sox pitcher? Oh my God, Vasquez. I'm blanking. Thank you, Javier Vasquez.
Randy Johnson,
Hideki Irabu, big fat pussy toad. I mean, we can go all day. Yeah,
it's constant. It seems like there's so many players that go to New York, especially as a starting pitcher, and struggle. But as him coming in and just absolutely pitching amazing is great. Now, this is something that he was continuing last year. Where last year's not a season where you want to sit back and hang your hat on. At the same time, in September, he had a 1.8 in September of last year. So this is nothing new to him. And obviously it's Max Fried. He had like a 2.4 last year in September. So he's had amazing moments, amazing times in his career. But again, he's doing everything right? He's all of his pitches are working. There's no real outlier on his pitches. It's not like he jumped miles per hour. It's not like he's getting crazy different exit velocity or anything like that. He's just getting it done with what we've known him to be able to do. I don't know how long it's sustainable, especially if you have the same type of numbers on exit velocity and stuff like that. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. But again, he's pitching amazing. Had a great start against Tampa Bay. He pitched against Detroit, so that's always kind of a great kind of litmus test for them right now. It's the best team they've played. So we'll see, though, one starts getting a little warmer, hitters start warming up. We'll see how it plays out, but at the same time, Max has been pitching amazing.
Yeah, getting a lot of ground balls. Go ahead, Sam.
David, sticking in the realm of pitchers, Tyler Motley, Hunter Brown, Nick Pivetta, Mitchell Parker, Chris Bubich, and Andrew Heaney all have something in common. They all have sub-2 ERAs, and all but one of those guys have made 5 starts now on the season. So you're basically looking at 20% of their season down and an ERA in the ones. What is contributing around Major League Baseball to these random guys who certainly do not have track records of doing this, even for such a short, sustained period of time? How are they doing this?
All right, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit on Hunter Brown. There's no track record. I think that's you didn't do your research there, because in 2022 he had a .89 ERA for his season. Just he might have had
Shots
only
fired.
couple games, 2 starts, but
There
he's
you
at
go.
.89. But what we're seeing though, one, Nick Pivetta doesn't have the big track record, but he's had the talent. Right, he's had that talent. It's been there. Teams have seen it. And in this day and age, the bigger question is, in this day and age, in pitching and pitching development, there's so much information that these players can step away from the season, train themselves, learn from, and then go into new seasons with different arsenals, different styles of pitching their same pitches in different locations. And so and we understand hitters a lot more than we've ever understood them. So in no other time in baseball, we've been able to really do this, where these pitchers can walk off the field and say, exactly why did I get hit? What was the spin rate? What was the action? What was the movement? And then work on those very specific things, where a lot of times in the past, you're just guessing and you hope you feel better and maybe something will change. And man, I got it this year, where that's not how they adjust it and look at it. But some of those players have had the talent, especially Hunter Brown, right? He's gotten better. He had a 3.4 last year, 5 in the year before that, but he's getting a lot better. A 1.1 is not necessarily sustainable. At the same time, thank God it is, because the Astros need it, and it's one of those things that's been helping. But he's a good pitcher, and what was he, 1-1 or whatever his pick was, first rounder.
Yeah, high draft pick for sure.
Very high draft pick, but a huge prospect for him. Absolutely, I think he was maybe even 5th. But huge prospect for him. Everyone knew him coming in, a couple years ago when he came up to the big leagues. There's no doubt they all wanted him to see this. So it's happening. And so they've all had talent. It's just a matter of being able to adjust in a game that we've never been able to adjust in before.
All right, it's time for Sam's absurdly stupid question that nobody but Sam cares about, but he wants to ask it to David. Go ahead, Sam. Finish it out.
All right, David, why on earth, and this is a question I've had for years, do so many pitchers wear streetwear style sunglasses specifically on their off days? This question comes to me because I was watching a Nats game this week, and they cut to Mackenzie Gore in the dugout, and he's wearing full uniform like a regular off day, like you have to wear in the dugout, but he's got a pair of Club Masters on. Well, what are we doing here? Do you not get sponsored? Does Oakley not come in and give out free sunglasses every year? Is it that hard to wear a pair of athletic sunglasses? Why are people wearing streetwear in the dugout?
Is this a
David
commentary
Aardsma?
or a question?
Because they want to look good. I got free Oakleys my whole career. I never wore them. I gave them to my friends and stuff like that. I've got a pair that I use for like hiking, but I wasn't a sunglasses guy, but when I'm seeing that, I don't know, they just want to look good, and that's what they like, looking good. Ray-Bans are bad though. Ray-Bans are like the same price as Oakleys.
No, it's not about the price. It's about, you're not gonna. What if the game goes 17 innings and you got to go get warmed up in the bullpen because you're tomorrow's starter? You're gonna get warmed up in a pair of Club Masters. They're gonna go flying off your head midway through your pitching motion.
You can take them off, right? Once you wear them, it's not mandatory.
It doesn't match the vibe. I'm a vibes guy. We need to have the same vibe.
I feel infinitely dumber for having had this conversation.
What's your thing against Ray-Bans? That's the real question.
I think that's a very fair question.
They're not baseball field sunglasses.
Well, we're not going to have time to really go through it anymore,
They're
I guess.
dock
We're out of time.
sunglasses.
We got to go. David, we'll see you later. Just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Thursday. Busy show Friday. Robert Littall will be here, Black Sports Online founder. Get some thoughts with him on some of the top stories of the week. We have not touched the Shannon Sharpe story all week. We will talk about that with him tomorrow. Tino Patino slated to be here as well. Talk NASCAR. With NASCAR having a week off last week and back at it this weekend. We'll talk to him about that. At least the Cup Series had the week off. If you have not done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon. Did I miss anybody? Oh yeah, anywhere you get a podcast. Make sure to go and subscribe to that. You can listen to the show. You could also watch it over on Spotify Monday through Friday, and watch us over on our new YouTube channel, the Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. We've got shows up there. We've got extra clips up there. We've got Sports Wrap shorts up there. Anytime there's breaking news, we go to YouTube immediately and create shorts for it. Go and check it out. Go and subscribe right now. I promise you will not regret it. All right, without any further delays, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends, Sam Yarnell. The end of radio broadcasts for the New York Islanders. And this is kind of a trend that we've seen coming in sports. And I've seen it coming for years. Having spoken to people in the radio industry, having spent 25 years of my career in the radio industry. Chris King and Greg Picker, were those the guys doing the play-by-play? I know Chris King was there for a while. Weren't they doing the games on like Hofstra Radio or like college radio or something like that? Some college radio station?
Yeah, so a couple of things to this story, Jason.
Yeah.
Obviously, the headline yesterday, Arthur Staple of The Athletic got some inside reporting from hockey operations in Elmont for the New York Islanders that they are terminating the contracts, or not renewing the contracts, I should say, of the aforementioned Chris King and Greg Pickard, two guys who have been with the team for, gosh, as long as I can remember, as long as I've listened to New York Islanders hockey. Kinger, of whom is a Long Island legend, quite frankly, in the media space. While you're right, this is a trend that we've seen across the National Hockey League, as a matter of fact. My favorite team, the Buffalo Sabres, they do the same thing. They simulcast their TV broadcast on the radio.
Yep.
The interesting part about this, and the part that people aren't reporting enough, and is to me the most important part, is that this radio broadcast did not cost the New York Islanders any money outside of what they were paying directly to the play-by-play and color commentator. They did not have to pay for any of the operations of that entire broadcast. No, that all was funded by the radio station where I cut my teeth, multiple-time Marconi Award-winning WRHU on Long Island, 88.7 FM on your dial. If you're in Nassau County, go ahead and tune in, because those are some of the hardest working students in sports media. And Jason, I'll just say this. It is incredibly sad to me, as a kid from DC who set his sights on New York because there was this school offering him a chance to cover an NHL team as an 18-year-old on a radio station that was broadcast nationally for millions to hear. It truly was what I think got me here today and put me here in this chair hosting this show with you. It was an incredible opportunity. It was one of the most unique opportunities in the sports media world. I can confidently say that now, looking back on it all these years later, having seen all the other opportunities that are out there. And it's truly shocking, upsetting, depressing, disheartening that an organization reeling as much as the New York Islanders have been over the course of the last umpteen years. I mean, let's be frank, from a sports perspective, the drive for five is kind of over. It's upsetting that they would do something like this and bring even more bad PR to that kind of a hockey organization right now.
Yeah, and look, it's penny pinching, because if all you're talking about are the salaries of the two guys doing the game on the radio, there's no excuse for it. But it is a trend I think we are going to continue to see in sports. I don't think the NHL and NHL teams will be the last to do it. Sam, finals last night. Washington gets a win in Game 2, 3-1. I'll tell you, though, Montreal has played them tough over the first couple of games of that series. Not a surprise, though, that Washington, obviously, the superior team there. Dallas, I'll tell you, this one surprises me, because when Jason Robertson went down before the end of the regular season, I thought they were in trouble. They were reeling going into the playoffs. Dallas now with a 2-1 series lead on the Avalanche after an overtime win last night. And the Kings, I'll tell you, they could make a very deep run out there in the West. I would not be shocked. And there's a lot of good teams in the West. We know Winnipeg obviously is very good. But boy, oh boy, it looks like Winnipeg and LA are sort of the class out there in the West. Kings did a number on the Oilers last night, 6-2, Sam.
Yeah, the Kings and Oilers series is going to be good down the stretch. I'm really looking forward to watching that. Listen, if the the
Jets,
Stars and Avalanche series is going to be very good down the stretch. If the Oilers do not beat the Kings, if the Oilers get wiped by the Kings, old Ned Narratives over here is going to start talking a lot about the chosen one, Connor McDavid, because quite frankly, he's got an allergy to winning the big one. By the way, Caps still feel like a team of destiny.
I hope they are, because I think that story would be tremendous to see Alex Ovechkin finish the story. We got to go. We're out of time. Maybe Dennis Bernstein on the show tomorrow to talk hockey. Thank you to David Aardsma. Thanks to you, Sammy Arnell. Thanks to you for watching. We'll see you back here on Sports Wrap on Friday.